Hi, my name is Sheona Smith and I'm a teacher and teacher trainer working at the British Council. In this video I'm going to talk about the importance of preparation. You know the phrase, it's not the destination that's important, it's the journey, and it's so true. In relation to our teaching practice, we can sometimes forget that the road to success is often more about the road and how we as educators walk along that road with our students, how we prepare our learners, how we set up the stages, and how we plan tasks and stop-off points along the way in order for our learners to meet their established goals. What does this actually mean in practice? It means that as educators we need to factor in enough time for ourselves and for our learners at those preliminary stages to meet the objectives they have come up with. So what does success look like and how are we going to achieve it? I like to think of this as a cyclical path. We set off on a journey by determining with our learners what the success criteria looks like. What are we looking for at our destination? What things would we like to see? For example, if we hope that our learners can give a presentation on the Renaissance, then we'd expect to see the following: subject-specific vocabulary about the artistic movement, references to architecture and the sciences, and academic language related to the historical context, and so forth. Therefore, we need to provide scaffolding to support and stretch our students so that they feel confident and empowered by the experience rather than frustrated. It's well known that mastery experiences in which students are successful help build self-esteem and motivation. This may mean allowing practice time for the task or even creating additional collaborative tasks that allow the learners to reprocess the content several times so that they know and feel comfortable about what information or concepts they need to present. This is one of the key ideas in learning power, a concept put forth by Dr. Guy Claxton that is promoting resilience and reflection while learning, or sticking with the problem, also known as grit, and reflecting on what progress you're making and how to move forward. This learning journey should make it clear to learners that their presentation or other final task may need to be redrafted several times, and that's okay. We don't want or expect their first attempt to be the final version. We're happy with fail, that is, first attempt in learning, at this stage. If we have our outcomes established as what are we looking for, then the learners can see if they have met them or need to review and adapt, with our help of course. These are the pit stops where the learners can look back, take stock of what they have accomplished, and then map out what additional things need done in order to meet the goals that they have set. So, planning in a review stage supported by a set of reflective questions midway through the learning cycle will go a long way to building confidence, aiding collaboration, and meeting the success criteria. Some questions could be: have we covered the unit concepts? Is our rationale clear and coherent? Do we feel confident that we will meet the success criteria? What other things do we need to include? Have we practiced in our group before the main presentation? Let's suppose that your final task is a presentation. Why would that be a useful final task to evaluate learning? Let's look at some of the advantages. Number one, students are familiar with this format and tech skills will not impede creation of the content. Number two, the preparation stages allow them to reprocess the content in a variety of ways. For example, they need to comprehend written text from the course book, they need to summarise, add visual content, discuss with their teammates, and decide on roles and responsibilities. Number three, presentations not only facilitate learning of content but also soft skills like collaborating in a team, reflecting on goals achieved, and critical thinking in assessing how to move forward. Number four, all students are learning from the creation and presentation of the information and the evaluation of each other's success. This last point is a very important one. At times, we can forget that those students who are not presenting can also be actively learning. Their peers' presentations are not a moment for them to switch off and just listen. This particular point in the cycle is of vital importance and is in fact the cherry on the cake. The learning journey has not yet finished because at this stage, the learners have a final opportunity to learn from their peers. Experts say that peer-to-peer learning is much more effective and memorable than anything we as educators can do in the lesson. Yes, it's important for the presenters to have an audience with expectations, our success criteria, in order to give their best. But those learners who are listening are learning and actively reflecting on the concepts presented, comparing them to their own and noticing the gaps, and therefore need to be given a task to support them to do this. The task could be a success criteria tick list, a 50-word summary of what you just heard, provide positive criticism to your classmates. Only then do we reach our destination, which is hopefully meeting or even exceeding the success criteria. Just think for a minute about that whole journey and where the learning actually takes place. So, to sum up, think of the learning unit or task as a journey with different stages. Start by identifying appropriate aims for each stage and final success criteria with the students. What do you want to see at each stage? At the final stage, what are we looking for? Plan in sufficient preparation time to allow exploration and creation of content as well as practice time. Allow for pit stops and scaffold learning to learn by using reflective questions. Design a task for all students to use to evaluate their learning from their peers. And if you accomplish all that, your students and you will certainly have gained in learning power.